Good afternoon, students. Am I audible for you?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So in the last class, we were discussing about the channel assignment strategies. So why we go for the channel assignment strategy is that it's nothing but a scheme for increasing the capacity, but keeping one point in the mind, that is we need to minimize the interference. Okay. Of course, if we are trying to increase the capacity of the channel, means we are trying to accommodate more number of subscribers with available channels. Okay, we are trying to share the channel among multiple users. So at the same time, capacity increases, but the thing is that the core channel cells will be too close to each other, so that will create severe interference. So we need to assign the channel in such a way that the interference should be minimum. At the same time, the capacity should be maximized. And as I told you, there are two kinds of strategies, channel assignment strategies. One is fixed and second one is dynamic. In the fixed CA approach or in the fixed channel assignment strategy, what we have is we will be allocating a fixed set of channels for each cells. Okay, so no cell is allowed to borrow channel from the neighboring cells. So a confined or predetermined number of channels or sets of channels are allocated to a particular cell, so that that cell should able to go with particular cells to complete the conversation or to complete the communication. So in between, if I try to initiate a call, okay, in a particular cell, and if I'm not able to allocate any channels, then normally the call that is initiated by that subscriber will be blocked. So that is a main drawback of fixed channel assignment strategy. Why it leads to blocking? Because there is no channel assigned for that particular cell. So that should not happen. Somehow we should continue with the communication. Somehow we should get channel assigned from the base station and MSC. Okay, so it is base station who is assigning the channel, which is monitored and supervised by MSC. Okay, mobile switching center. But in this case, we are supposed to take only the assigned channels. Okay, if the assigned channel is already busy with some other calls or some other voice communication, then probably there is a chance for blocking the call. So there is a probability of blockage of call is very huge in fixed strategy. Okay, that is a main drawback. So in order to compensate for this, another channel assignment strategy is being designed by the design engineers. So that is nothing but the dynamic assignment strategy. So in dynamic channel assignment strategy, we have the provision to borrow the channels. Okay, that is the subscribers have the provision to borrow the channels from the neighboring cells if it is found that the our own allocated channels are full or accommodated. Okay, if the host channels are completely accommodated by any other subscribers in any other clusters of the cellular system, then at that point of time we will be able to, or we will have a provision to borrow the new set of channel from the neighboring cells. But the thing is that while borrowing, we should be very careful that the core channel cells are very far apart from each other. Means we are borrowing the new channels, means actually the cause that is there is a more chance of interference to occur. So while borrowing, we should follow some strategies, or we should follow some allocation principles such that the core channel interference should be minimum. And what do you mean by this core channel interference? It is nothing but core channel is nothing but the two cells that are sharing the same channels. So if the two cells that are sharing the same channels are very much close to each other, then there is a high tendency of interference to occur. So while processing this dynamic channels assignment strategies, we have to follow certain rules and regulations. Okay. The first thing is the MSC will look over the likelihood of future blocking or the chance of future blocking. I told you it is a responsibility of MSC upon request from base station who is allocating the channel. Right. So before allocating the stipulated set of channels, this MSC will try to find the probability of blocking in future. That is what is known as likelihood of future blocking. So it should take care of the chance of future blocking. If an urban environment, that is, if the channel is connected with an urban environment, and there is a huge tendency of blocking to occur in future. So in that case, those channels should not be allocated to the requested cell. Okay, so future blocking tendency or likelihood or the probability should be taken into consideration before allocating the new set of channel by the MSc. So that should be taken into account. The second point is, what is the second point? The reuse distance of the channel. What do you mean by reuse? What is a factor that we are reusing here? What is the factor that we're using here, or what kind of parameter that we are using here? Anyone? What parameter we are using here? Again and again we are using the same thing, isn't it? What kind of parameter that we are using to optimize the capacity? No response. Are you there? Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The question is, we are trying to increase the capacity and we are reusing the same factor again and again. So what is that parameter that we are trying to reuse again and again? What is the parameter that we are trying to reuse again and again?
Bandwidth.
It is bandwidth or the frequency range, because the spectrum is very much limited. We are not able to allocate the entire spectrum into among a fixed number of users, isn't it? The subscribers are infinite in number, whereas the spectrum available is very limited in number. So we are reusing the same frequency or allocating the same frequency or bandwidth among multiple cells which are fixed in different clusters. Okay, so the reuse factor is nothing but your frequency. So before allocating the channel assignment, MSc with the help of this base station, they will consider the reuse distance. Reuse distance means the distance that is elapsed between two clusters or two cells that are sharing the same channel. Okay, if a cell located in position A is having a set of channel, and if the same channel is going to assign to another cell, but that second cell should be sufficiently located from the previous cell so that minimum interference will take place. So that is nothing but the reuse distance. Reuse distance is the distance between two co-channel cells sharing the same channel. So the MSc will verify whether the newly allocated cell or the channels that is going to be allocated for the new cell is sufficiently far apart from the previous cell so that the interference is minimum. So that should be considered by the MSc with the help of the base station before allocating the channel. So this is a second strategy or second algorithm or second constraint to be followed. Third one is the cost and the resource utilization. Cost effective, it should be cost effective. Okay, so all these three parameters are taken into consideration while allocating the channels for the new cell. Okay, why we are allocating channels for the cell? Because already the available channels have been used by some other users. So in that case, the call cannot be terminated. The call should not be terminated. Communication should be effective. It should continue unless the calling subscriber or called subscriber is willing to abort the call. Okay, till then the conversation should continue. So there should not be any termination in the communication. So for that purpose, somehow we need to allocate the channel. And the main thing is that the quality should not go beyond a appreciable level. So there will be a threshold level, isn't it? The signal strength, it should not go beyond a particular level. So MSc will only allocate a given frequency if that frequency is not currently in use. If it is currently in use means what will happen? Again, interference will occur. You know what is the effect of interference? The quality of the signal will low. It will decrease beyond the threshold. As a result, the service is gradually aborted and the termination of the call may take place. Okay, so MSc will allocate a given frequency if and only if that frequency is not currently in use by any other cells. Okay, and the newly allocated cell should fall, or it should be very far from the minimum reuse distance. Okay, if the newly allocated cell is within the limited reuse distance, means for that particular cell this channel will not be assigned. What happen if same channel is allocated to the new cell? Means there will be interference. Okay, so MSC will allocate a given frequency if and only if that frequency is not currently in use in the cell or any other cell which falls within the limiting reuse distance. Clear? Now, this dynamic channel assignment, DCA is otherwise known as, what is the full form of DCA? It is dynamic channel assignment. The main advantage of using this DCA when compared to FCA, what's FCA? FCA is fixed channel assignment strategy. The main drawback of fixed channel assignment is we are trying to increase the capacity, but the thing is that the blockage of call will occur because we are not having any provision to take new channels. Okay, because it is already it has been fixed. But here in the DCA, the approach of DCA, the main advantage is that it reduces the likelihood of blocking or the probability of blocking, and also it increases the capacity. So you can have the more capacity, at the same time the probability of blocking can be reduced. So that is the advantage of using dynamic channel assignment. Okay, but you know that whenever we have some advantages from any algorithm, of course we should have some compromise in other parameters. So the main compromise here is that power dissipation will be excessive, or the time delay, means the real-time data they need to collect, isn't it? So the MSC will be always collecting some real-time data on the channel occupancy, because it need to be updated whether this much set of channel has been assigned to a particular subscriber, or set of channels from 1 to 10 has been allocated to a particular subscriber. So all these have to be updated in real time basis, so excessive power dissipation will take place for that particular process. Okay, and time delay will be also severe. So it requires MSC to collect the real-time data on the channel occupancy and the traffic distribution on continuous basis. So how the traffic is being distributed over a particular cell, and for these particular subscribers or for these particular traffic, this much of channels is being allocated. So continuously that time or that real-time data, it needs to be updated by this MSC. So there is a huge burden over this MSC to process all these data. That is a drawback of dynamic channel assignment. Okay, even though it reduces the chance of blocking, but this MSC is having a huge burden in maintaining all this data or collecting all this data with the help of the base station. Hope you got the two classifications, that is regarding fixed and dynamic channel assignment strategy. Any doubt with respect to these two?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'm moving to the next slide. Next topic is handoff. So as of now, we know the concept of cellular system, why we are dividing the entire geographical area into hexagonal shaped cells. That concept we know, and why we are trying to increase the channel capacity. That also we know, and the main principle behind increasing the channel capacity is using the frequency reuse concept, and how the channel is being co-channel is being allocated. So there's a formula for allocating the co-channels, as I told you in the last class. N is equal to I square plus Ij plus J square. So you need to provide appropriate values for I and J to calculate the cluster size N. Okay, so that cluster size, reciprocal of that cluster size, is known as the frequency reuse factor. That also we did. Then today we have studied about the different channel assignment strategies, and also one numerical problem regarding the channel assignments. That is, basically there are two types of channels: voice channels and control channels. So how these channels are being allocated for different cell clusters or for different cluster size. Okay, so you will have a bandwidth given in that particular problem. So based upon that bandwidth, we need to distribute the available number of channels among different cells. So that also we have so till now. Now we are going to the next topic, that is handoff. Okay, so all the users currently available under one cell need not necessarily that it is always static. Okay, even though we are using our handheld devices as mobile phones, We can be mobile in nature or we can be static in nature. So if we are static in nature under one base station in a cell, then there is no requirement of handoff. Why? Because we are getting the service continuously from that particular base station. So the signal strength is appreciably maintained, isn't it? Always the signal strength received at our mobile phone from the base station is maintained above a threshold. Means there is no scope of blocking the call. There is no scope of, abrupt termination of your conversation, isn't it? Always it is being connected to the base station. The signal level received at the base station from your mobile phone and back, it is always maintained above a threshold. Okay, you have two channels. What are the two channels? What are the two channels acting between the base station and the mobile? Can anybody say? Don't say voice channel and control channel. What are the two channels available between the base station and mobile phone? Today only you did the quiz, no? What are the two channels? Somebody has put in chat box. Yes, forward channel and reverse channel. Yeah, you can unmute and speak out now. Forward channel and reverse channel. You know what is forward channel and reverse channel? Forward is nothing but the channel where we'll be allocating for the communication to take place from base station to mobile. Okay. And reverse channel is something, the channel that is allocated for the communication of voice messages from your mobile phone back to the base station. So these two will simultaneously being processed. That is why all the communication that you are undergoing is nowadays it is a full duplex communication, because in both way you have the ability to transmit the data. Okay. Still, the two bandwidth allocated for the forward channel and reverse channel are different. Why the bandwidth is different? Because we don't want to interfere the signals that is being transmitted in the uplink and downlink together. Okay, they're transmitting in the same time slot, so there is more chance of interference. So to reduce interference, what we have done is I've taken the uplink transmission or the forward channel in one bandwidth and have allocated different bandwidth for the reverse channel, isn't it? So that and all we have discussed earlier. So now, if our handheld device like mobile phone is very dynamic in nature, or if the mobility is very large, there is huge chance that this mobile phone can move from the allocated host cell into neighboring cell. Host cell means the subscriber that is being registered under one base station. That is nothing but the host cell. Okay. You can move your phone, or you since you are in mobile in nature, maybe you are a pedestrian or maybe you are moving in a vehicle with a different speed, still you have a provision to roam around the boundary of the cell or even across the boundary of the cell, so that you can get into the neighboring cell. But the thing is that service given for you by the MSC is not going to terminate, or the call is not going to cut in between. Okay, so in that case, what is happening is that this MSC is transferring the call. Suppose you are in the cell number 1, in between you have received a call, but gradually you are moving away from the base station and you are entering into the neighboring cell. Still the conversation continues. And why? Because this MSC has transferred your call to a new channel belonging to a new base station. So entirely the channel reallocation of the channel has been done, and service is being now rendered by the new base station for the new cell. You know the concept. Each and every cell will be hexagonal in shape, and in that cell you will have a base station. Base station is nothing but a high power or low power, that depends upon the cell size. Okay, high power or low power transmitting antenna mounted over a tower. Clear? So under that base station or that particular base station mounted with an antenna will have a definite coverage area. So if you are roaming around this coverage area, means you will get the service from the base station. But when you are moving away from the base station towards the boundary of the cell, means the service will gradually decrease, or the signal strength will gradually decrease. Received signal strength is gradually going to decrease. Ultimately, the call will terminate. But we are not going to allow the call to terminate in between. So MSC will come into picture, and MSC, that is a mobile switching sender will transfer that call to a new channel belonging to a new base station. New channel in the sense you have moved to a new cell, isn't it? The new cell is having a new set of channel. You know that the two neighboring cells at any cost they are not having the same channels. So whenever you are moving from cell 1 to cell 2, which are located very near to each other, then once you entered cell number 2, the service is now occupied by new set of channels, isn't it? The new voice channels, new number of control channels, everything is now new to you, and the base station is also the new one. This process is known as handoff. But please keep in mind that all handoffs are not like this. This is the general case of handoff, but there are some special cases of handoff which I will explain later, where the channels will not be allocated newly. You will have the permission to use the same channel in another cell also, but that is controlled by the new base station. Okay, generally I will speak first. Generally, a handoff is nothing but the process of allocating a new channel and a new base station to a call. Okay, that is done by your MSC. But there are certain special cases of handoff where you will be transferring the call to a new base station, but by keeping the same allocated channel previously. So previously, whatever the channels it is being allocated for you, you are allowed to use the same channel, but with a different base station. That is also possible as a special case of handoff. So don't bother about that as of now. I will explain that later. Okay. So hope you know, you got the concept of handoff. So while performing this handoff, what we have to do is we have to identify the new base station, and after identifying the new base station, we need to allocate new channels. New channels in the sense there are two types of channels, as you know, control channel and voice channel. Why you want to go for these two channels? Why everything is not possible with the help of only single channel? Because before transmitting the voice, we need to first initiate the call, request for the call, initiate the call. Everything is to be set up between the base station, MSC, and your mobile device. So some sort of control signals is to be transferred from your mobile device to the base station and finally to the MSC and back. Okay, and vice versa. So these control signals are being transmitted with the help of control channels, and voice or the speech or conversation is being happening through voice channels. So basically, we are going to allocate a definite set of control channel and definite new set of voice channel to the user that has been undergone the handoff. Okay, so whenever a subscriber has moved to a new cell, the MSC is allocated a new base station for him and a new set of voice channel and control channel for the user. But the thing we have to ensure is the frequent handoff should not take place, because frequent when in what case frequent handoff will take place? Can anybody tell? In what practical environment this frequent handoff will take place? Frequent handoff in the sense one handoff will take place now. Frequently, it is again handoff. Means again it is moved to the next cell. So in what physical environment or in what practical cases, practical scenarios, this frequent handoff will take place? Can anybody sell a real-time example?
When someone is driving a car and he's on the phone.
Yes, yes. When someone is driving the car and he's on the phone, and that car is having a very high speed in terms of kilometer per hour, and if the cell is very small, that also you should keep in mind, not the first case alone. If the car is having a very high speed, need not necessarily that handoff will take place frequently, because there can be a certain situation where the car is in the rural area. In the rural area, we don't have small cells, isn't it? We have larger cells. Why we have larger cells in rural areas? Vidya B, why you are having large cells in rural areas? Nishmida, can you tell why you are having a large sized cells in rural areas? No answer. Rishita. See, if you're not responding means not going to take the attendance also. That's what I should. Putting in the chat box. What? Because of less subscribers. Yes. Pranay, very good. Because of less subscribers, less number of users are available in the rural areas. So we are not going to share the channels among larger set of users. So in that case, cell size can be minimum. Okay. Sorry, cell size can be very large. So if we have to increase the capacity means we need to reduce the cell size. Okay, the cell area should be very less and the cluster size should be very large because more cells are accommodated in one cluster. So that will be taking place in urban areas. So in practical scenarios of having a very large dynamic behavior of a mobile in an urban environment, we will have a frequent handoff. So frequent handoff is more visible in urban areas having mobiles with larger speed. Okay, but the thing is that while occurring frequent handoff, the received signal strength will there is high tendency of the received signal strength to go below a threshold value. So if it goes below an acceptable threshold value, what will happen is that the signal, whatever we are getting at the mobile phone from the base station will be very less and we will not be able to hear whatever the voice they are sending from the transmitter mobile. Okay. So during the frequent handoff, this will happen. And again, the excessive power dissipation will take place at the base station level as well as at the mobile level as well. So this has to be compromised somehow. So for that, what we have to do, we have to increase the cell size, isn't it? We are forced to increase the cell size. But you know that while increasing the cell size, we should be compromising in capacity. Only to increase the capacity, only we are increasing the number of cells in a cluster. Okay. So to meet these requirements, an optimum signal level must be defined to initiate a handoff. So handoff should be taken place before the signal going below the threshold. You know that why handoff has taken place? Because I am moving away from my host base station. Suppose this is my cell and the cell has a base station at the center, but geographically I am moving, physically I am moving away from the base station so that the signal that is being received in my mobile device is continuously decreasing with respect to my movement. Isn't it? So what should happen is the MSC should take care of, the MSC should always update this data, my real-time data. What is the real-time data that my mobile has? Nothing but the received signal strength. So that should be tracked by my base station and MSC, and MSC should decide that now the handoff should happen so that the received signal strength of his mobile should not go beyond this threshold level. I repeat, suppose I am moving away from the base station in a particular cell, then gradually the signal that is being received in my cell phone or in my handheld device is continuously decreasing. Now this received signal strength is monitored by the base station that is being connected with my mobile device and is updated to MSC, and this MSC will decide now that at this point of time the handoff should occur. If handoff is not happened at that time, what will happen? Again, the service is continued by my base station itself, and at later point of time, the signal strength will again appreciably, it will gain, it will go below the defined threshold and ultimately my call get terminated. So that should not happen. Okay. So I should find a time, okay, to take handoff, or to the MSC should find a time to go for this handoff before the signal goes below the threshold. But we can ensure that the signal level will not go below a threshold if the handoff has taken place in a apt time. Okay. In a desirable time, if handoff has successfully taken place, means the service has been continued by the next cell or next base station or the new channel that is allocated for the second cell, then we can say that our received signal strength will not go beyond the threshold and successfully the call can be continued. Okay. So we have two parameters. One is minimum usable signal. Minimum usable signal means at least that strength should be maintained at every device. That is approximately 90 dB per meter or 100 dB, 90 to 100 dB meter. This is the appreciable or minimum, not appreciable. It is a minimum usable signal strength at the receiver's device or at the mobile device with respect to the base station. At least this should be maintained. What will happen if the signal goes below this particular value? Handoff will not take place. So for handoff to occur, we need to maintain a margin, means a gap. Okay. So that gap is nothing but the threshold. So always the threshold should be taken above the minimum usable signal level. Threshold value should be always stated above the minimum usable signal level so that we will continue the handoff at the threshold itself. So we won't wait. The MSC will not wait till the signal to go towards the minimum usable signal. Before that itself, it will start handoff. Okay. What will happen if handoff is not started at threshold value? The signal strength will go towards the minimum usable signal and ultimately it will go beyond that minimum usable signal value, then no handoff will occur. So to make this handoff successfully to occur, we need to create a margin. That margin is nothing but a gap. That gap is between the threshold and minimum. Threshold is something, the desirable level at which handoff can occur, and minimum usable signal strength is nothing but the minimum level below which handoff will not occur at all. Okay, in that case, the signal get aborted or the termination will stop. The call will get terminated abruptly. Is this clear for you? Any doubts? Can I move to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
So in the next slide, we have the graph. Okay, so by looking at the variations of signal strength from either base station it is possible to decide on optimum area where handoff can take place. Here we have a base station A. This is base station A, and this is base station B. Means this is an antenna which is being installed at one cell, and this is nothing but a high power transmitting antenna which is located in different cell. And here we have a mobile user who is continuously in movement in a high speed vehicle. So this vehicle is moving from A to B. So as you can see, when this vehicle was very close to A, the signal strength that is being received at the receiver is very large. But whenever it is moving away from the base station, what will happen is the signal is decreasing, the strength is decreasing. Okay, and eventually it will become very much less than the threshold, and ultimately the call will get terminated. But what will happen is at this point, okay, I will annotate and show you. At this particular point, if the MSC has started the handoff, then the signal strength at this mobile device will not go in this manner, or it will not decrease. Instead, what will happen? Again, the signal strength goes increasing. Why? Because I am moving towards base station B. Okay, since I am moving towards the base station B, now the service which I am getting is now from base station B after the handoff. So at this particular point of time, MSC has initiated the handoff, and now I got new set of voice channel and control channel, and the base station B, which is located at the next neighboring cell, has taken the entire service. So from this particular point of time, again the signal strength that is received at my mobile station gets increased in this manner. But if imagine if handoff has not occurred in this particular point, what will happen? My signal strength will go beyond, below the threshold, even below the minimum usable signal also. That is a worst case. Okay, if the signal received is below the minimum usable signal value, then no longer we can continue with the conversation. The call will get terminated. So this is the scenario of handoff. Even the graph can be explained in this way also. Okay, suppose if we are moving from mobile B to, station B to station A, same thing it's happened. Initially we will have a large strength, but the strength gets decreased, and later what will happen at this point of time, if the handoff has occurred, the base station A will take the entire service. We will get the new channel, we will get the new base station, so the signal strength will increase. But the thing is that we have to initiate the handoff in a prior basis itself. Thus, we are not going to wait the signal to go below the minimum usable level before that itself. Okay, before that particular point itself, on prior basis, MSC will initiate the handoff. Okay, why? Because the MSC does not want to wait the signal, to go below the minimum usable value. So if the signal goes below the minimum usable value, ultimately the call will get terminated. Okay, it always need a peculiar time or a definite time to handoff to take place. Okay, so that required time should keep in mind, and advancedly the handoff should take place. Okay, so that after that stipulated time, again the signal will not go below the minimum usable value. It will start increasing after the handoff. So keeping these points in mind, the MSC will start the handoff in a prior basis itself. Now I will go for the two different scenarios of handoff. One is improper handoff and another one is proper handoff. Okay, just go through the first graph that we have, the improper handoff. See, in this graph, we have plotted the received signal level versus time, and assume that the user, or which is mobile in nature, is moving from A to B. So this is one hexagonal cell. So in that hexagonal cell at the center, you are having a base station 1, and the neighboring cell is labeled as B, and here you have a base station 2, and the mobile is moving in a vehicle from A to B. What is happening is, when the mobile is in A, means it is confined to this cell, so appreciably this will have a coverage area. This is a boundary of the cell. So whenever the mobile is in this particular vicinity, it will get enough strength from base station 1, base station A. So the signal strength is appreciably very large, as it is being shown here. See, in another 1 minute, this meeting will get end, and you can rejoin with the same link afterwards. Okay, you have to join. Don't go there. Kindly join after this. Okay, this is very important for you. So try to understand the concepts and then write the exam. What will happen is, see, when I'm moving from A to B, the signal strength is continuously decreasing, and this is the handoff threshold what we require. So at least the handoff should take place at this particular level. This is a dotted dashed line. At this dashed line, you need to perform the handoff. But this MSC is not able to provide newly allocated channel or newly allocated base station to my mobile. Then what will happen? Again, the signal strength will decrease.